conduct post-inauguration raids starting as early as Tuesday, sources revealed. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu described the initial phase of the ceasefire agreement as temporary, emphasizing that Israel maintains the right to resume military action if necessary.
Both President Trump and President Biden have fully supported Israel's right to resume fighting if negotiations on Phase 2 prove unproductive.
Updated reports on the Los Angeles wildfires indicate that at least 27 people have died as several fires, fueled by extreme drought and high winds, continue to burn across the region. A child in San Francisco has been identified as the third confirmed human case of bird flu in the United States, with the source of the infection still undetermined.
Since April 2024, cases have been reported nationwide.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as a statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
Yeah. Just keep rocking out there, Ben. Jeez, it's a long song. I don't know, did it get longer? Oh, I don't know my voice. I'm just seeing if it's going to start itself over again. No, it's not. That's very good. Good morning, folks. It is Monday, your favorite day of the week, January 20th, 2025. It's Martin Luther King Day. I don't know if you say Happy Martin Luther King Day. We celebrate the man and his life achievements. It's also Inauguration Day, where we celebrate the death of America. Yes, I have a nightmare that one day little Nazi boys and little Nazi girls will walk hand in hand down white supremacist lane. It's not a good day. But there's something to keep in mind, and it's this. Let me just play this clip for you here. Just a little piece of it.
It would be like trying to kill the president. There's no way we can get to him.
Tom, you know you surprise me. If anything in this life is certain, if history's taught us anything, it says you can kill anyone.
And that's why we really need to know about that, isn't it? If anything is certain, if history has taught us anything, it's that you can kill anyone. And now hopefully somebody will. That's all I can say. Now, I do have to end. I have to get out of the show a little bit early today because I have to be somewhere just at noon today for something I have to do, whether it has anything to do with that or not. It's subjective, I guess. So you can make of that what you will, but I have to be out by 11 a.m. so I can get to someplace by noon to take care of some really important business I have to do. What are you thinking? No, it's not that. Secret Service is going to come here and stop me on the way. No, it's not that. Anyway, so yeah, that's what you have in store for today. If you're watching the inauguration speech today, get a life. I mean, really. But moving on, we have a show for you today. A show planned for you today. If the guests show up, what's the good word, foul mouth teacher? The good word is hope. Hope's a good word. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Somebody is wanting to edit videos for me. No thanks. I don't have a budget. If you want to do it for free, absolutely. Only Zeus. You can work for free. You can work for free for forever and ever for us, and we will appreciate you doing that. But if you want money, no thank you. Anyway, thanks for being on Twitch and coming in to solicit. Is that the only thing people check us out on Twitch for? Is to solicit us and to say, well, I need money. Don't we all need money? Anyway, so Jesse Hirsch will be here in the first hour. Jesse is a podcaster, futurist, and a farmer. Now, I'm going to want to talk to him about this idea that, because one of the suggestions he has for a show title is "The Future Doesn't Exist." But he booked this thing. He didn't book it in the present. He didn't book it just now. He booked it in the past for the future, which is kind of confusing. Anyway, we'll get to him in just a moment. Hopefully, the dudes in the back, their audio is going to work after I play you a nice advertisement from one of our sponsors. We do have several new sponsors, guitar, piano, and singing apps called Simply Sing, Simply Piano, Simply Guitar. You can get them by going to minddogtv.com/sing or minddogtv.com/piano or minddogtv.com/guitar. Right, that was the other one. Anyway, in the meantime, check out one of our other sponsors. This is one who, where are they? They hit all my sponsor pieces here. These guys are being a little malicious, messing with me here, hiding my sponsorships. Here you go.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top-quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just a retailer, we're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box, or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Click the link in the description below this video to get this party started now.
Let's see how this layout looks, right? I'm in the right place. GD's in the wrong place. Must have been the wrong place. No, that's not it. Where did GD go? There he is. But where's he going? Here you go. I don't know what's going on here. Do you know what's going on here? It feels like it's a whole other world. Anyway, good morning, fellas. In the room with me now, Stephen, I have no volume, no audio Ortiz.
Good morning.
Ron, I might have audio or volume, Kane. And GD, I probably don't have any volume or microphone. Fenderson, good morning. Nope, you got nothing. You guys got nothing.
Good morning.
Anybody got anything? Nope.
What?
He's just fucking with me, isn't he?
What?
He is.
Good morning, America. MindDogTV.com.
No.
If you have today off because of the King holiday,
you have no audio.
You're welcome.
You got no.
We
audio.
hear him.
Nobody has any audio.
God's
coming for you. God's coming for you.
Yes, God's coming for you to bring a gift for you to give to your best African American or Black friend.
That's weird.
And today, being January 20th, The best gift to give your black friend to say thank you is lotion, because this is the time of year when we get ashy and we can never have too much
First
lotion.
day back on StreamYard, and I'm not hearing anybody. Let me see. Mike,
can you hear me?
God, this is just like I thought we got back on.
Yeah,
this
you can hear me.
You know, I'm paying an arm and a leg for this platform. I should be able to hear.
Yeah, he said he couldn't hear me either, but I think he's not hearing any of us.
Oh, okay.
I'm hearing you guys now.
Oh, okay. There we go.
All right. All right.
The shit comp, even Evil Ian, I will find out where you live and I will come over there and I will shit on your car.
What? Now, why is Ian picking a fight with you?
I don't know. It's Monday. Something new.
Now I'm seeing. Now I'm hearing you out of sync. Like 3 seconds after I see your lips move. TD, talk. Let me see. Let me check yours.
Okay.
No, you're in.
Now?
You're in sync. Yeah. Godzilla.
Ah.
Yeah.
Zilla God.
I don't know. Are you guys excited for the big inauguration today?
What is there? Something happening today?
Big inauguration. Big thing. Swearing in. Out in the cold. You didn't hear about it?
I'm gonna watch it just to see if anything crazy happens. That's gonna be about it. I'm not even gonna watch it. I'm just gonna have it on as background noise.
Now,
I'm not going to watch it, but I'm going to try to catch the highlights, at least the parts where Trump quotes Martin Luther King and uses and like folds it into his Nazi regime speech to show how Martin Luther King would have supported Trump and his Nazi agenda.
I have a nightmare that one day little Nazi boys and little Nazi girls will play together in a little Nazi camp or something.
Matt, I reached out to Jeff Bodart and somebody commented on his post and recommended me too. So
wow, was that a show? That was a setup. You had somebody go on and leave a comment.
No. I as you told me about it, and as I figured out a way to make my broken laptop work, I just got a notification.
See, I was going to recommend you, but then I figured, why would I want the guy to hate me? I don't want him being mad at me for you messing up this show. But I hope you get that. A lot of comedians born on that day. That's a birthday. That's a comedic birthday. I know probably about 20 comedians who that's their birthday, that show. So hope you get that. Anyway, yeah. So we have a futurist coming up in just 1 second. Futurist who booked in the past, but claims the future doesn't exist, which I'm confused by.
But he'll be on in the future, right? In like 2-3 minutes.
He'll be on in the very short future, and then in the second hour we have a novelist of thrillers, a thriller novelist, and I'm going to have to end that short. But if you guys want to continue, I do have a place I have to be at exactly 12 noon today. I don't want to.
Parole hearing.
Okay.
Huh?
Parole hearing.
Yeah, something like that. Very much like that. It's got a P in it. I know that. That's all that matters.
Well, so does my toilet if you don't flush it.
That's true. So anyway, yeah. I don't know. You guys got snow. I got several inches, but it didn't.
We had a bunch, but it's a lot of it's melted. But now it's negative. What was the temperature? It was -9 last night. It's 2 degrees now.
How does it melt in 2 degrees? You know,
the Earth has heat as well. So even if the sun isn't out there and the air temperature is not high, the Earth could be above 32 degrees
at night in the winter.
Yeah, it's like kinetic energy. I'm sorry, potential energy. I believe it's the energy that's already stored in the Earth that's being released.
Yeah, it's
and also you can notice that depending on like my yard, different parts of my yard will melt the snow at different times and different rates. And the closer it is to vegetation,
yeah, the sun beats down really hard on our house and front yard, so everything that all heats up pretty quick. But yeah, it's crazy, stupid cold.
All right,
nasty.
What's with the directional stuff on that microphone? You turn your head, it's kind of phasing in, phasing out like a Jimi Hendrix.
I don't know.
I don't know. Ron, you got sound? Or we wouldn't know?
I think so.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Hey.
That sounds really good. Better than ever.
I think he's just going through and he's rubbing all the sound effects softly. It's like,
all right, I have to change
to Minucci's.
Oh.
Yeah, Ron really missed him. He's going back. Welcome back, my little friends.
All right.
My little guide's coming for you. There you are, my little
All right, the
guide's coming
future is
for you.
here now. Let me read this. Jesse,
Actually, since it's 9:15 here. We're already the past for the Australians.
all right. Jesse Hirsch is a futurist farmer who brings an outsider's perspective, operating from his farm in rural eastern Ontario. Talk about cold. But we're about to invade Canada anyway, so we'll go take over his farm first. Wired up with high-speed fiber optic internet on a farm. I don't even have. I'm still working on getting it here. The Academy of the Impossible engages in a wide range of research regarding agriculture, media, technology, and culture. He's here, ladies and gentlemen. Say hello, to Jesse Harris. Good morning, Jesse, out in the cold there. How are you?
How you doing?
All right. Are you ready for the big invasion? We're coming up there afternoon today.
Yeah, we got lots of dogs. Can't say much about firearms because the legality here is a little gray. But if you want doobies, we can all be friends.
Wow.
Okay,
are
deal.
you in front of a green screen or are you actually outdoors? You're actually outdoors?
No, this is a green screen. As soon as you said how cold it was in Eastern Ontario, I figured I would bring the backdrop in to
how cold
add
is
some
it?
effect.
Where's my
right
Ed
now-
McMahon when I need him?
Right now, I think it's as cold as it is for y'all. I think the to honor the Satan being sworn in as president, hell has frozen over, and literally, the Canadians have invaded you with our Arctic cold air. So I think it's fuck cold everywhere.
Yeah, well,
you bastards.
Yeah, I think it was an intense.
No, I think as Canada was it South Park would say, blame Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now tell me exactly what the hell it is you do as a futurist farmer.
It depends
You
on
plant
who's
seeds
paying.
and they grow in the future.
Well, that's
God.
just it. I was a futurist before I became a farmer. And because I was a futurist, I realized I wanted to have control of my own food supply. And so I became a farmer. Upon doing so, realized all farmers are futurists. Because you have to think about the future if you're going to have crops, if you're going to have livestock, if you're going to deal with climate change. So it all depends on how far in the future you're looking. But quite frankly, it's all a grift because there is no future, as you've been struggling with this morning. And predicting the future is kind of like predicting the weather. You're going to be wrong most of the time. And seemingly people are okay with that.
That is true. But I could probably predict that at 12 noon, no, 12 noon today doesn't exist. Later, 12 noon Eastern doesn't exist. It doesn't exist at this moment.
But it will exist. And when it exists, it'll be the present and not the future.
That's true. All right. That wraps that up. Well, that's the show for you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming in. We've
solved time.
Yeah. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. By the time it gets here, it's the present. But we do make plan if there is no because farmers are all about planning for the future, right?
But you got to be flexible because you don't know when the rain's going to come. You don't know what kind of pests you're going to deal with. And in particular, climate change means we're getting really, really dry and really, really wet and nothing in between.
Yeah.
Right. We go from winter to summer and there's not much of a spring. So it makes it very difficult. Yes, you have plans, but often those plans just go right out the window and you got to improvise.
Yeah.
But basically there are patterns. And if you've been around long enough, you see a pattern, you can kind of prepare for it. So for example, if our winters are extraordinarily mild, at least in Maryland, I know that we're going to have an influx of mosquitoes and certain insects come spring because the weaker ones didn't die off when they should have died off with a harsh winter. So
absolutely. And it's the pattern recognition, quite frankly, that allows you to anticipate that future. Because if I would describe myself, you know, I hated futurists for the longest time. I thought they were full of shit until I found out how much money they made, and then I became a futurist. And
wait a minute, how much money do they make? Because I may want to become one too.
I'm here to tell you that futurism is a virus, and now you're all infected. So even though the future doesn't exist, you can now be futurists. And I honestly, I'm a very low-ranking futurist, and that's 5 figures for an hour, right?
Wow.
It says, hey, come on this stage, tell us about the future, versus like bigger futurists, they're getting 6 figures, 7 figures, and we're all bullshitters. Like fundamentally, we're all just making it up. But to your point, it's pattern recognition.
Okay, I would settle for an hourglass figure. I don't even have to have 6 or 7. I mean, just to have my old body back would be nice.
I would like to have 1 figure and keep it forever.
I'd like just a new body.
I had a guy who booked us. He had outdoor venues and he booked my band there. And he was a hardcore climate change denier, but he still had this theory, which is it's a hypothesis. It's not a theory. It was not tested at all. That this seasons was shifting. Spring is starting later, summer is starting later, fall is starting later, winter just starts right on time. But you know, it's odd that somebody can be a climate change denier, but still think that the climates are shifting. The seasons are shifting somehow. But you talked about climate change. We are full of, I don't know, is it 50-50 you think, or I think more people are climate change deniers than actual acceptors.
I think that's the danger of this incoming administration is they are going to promote lies, myths, and fantasy. I agree with you. I think it's more than 50% tragically, and that's true here in Canada as well as it is in the United States. And if you think about historically, humans thought that gods controlled the weather. And now we have people who are going to blame everything on either woke people or the gods. So as our weather gets crazier, as it becomes more volatile in terms of swinging to extremes, they're going to say the gods are angry because you're not doing X, Y, Z. And that'll just push people further and further away from the science.
Yeah.
It seems to me that whether or not the ratio of climate change deniers versus climate change acceptors is dependent upon how much responsibility people want to take for this.
Well, that's the part of it that I want to get to. I had a rare, I think, victory in a Twitter debate about a week ago with a climate change denier who basically he said, where's the evidence for it? And I laid out evidence of like bodies of water that used to freeze over every year for years and for eternity. They froze over. Now they don't even get a sliver of ice on them. And he said, well, hasn't that happened before? I said, congratulations. You just went from being a denier to talking about, is it nature or is it man-made? But at least you're not denying the phenomena anymore, which I thought, and he couldn't accept that he just admitted that. And it took me another 30 minutes to get him to say, what we're talking about here is the only legitimate debate is what's causing it, or if it's real, and can we do anything about it, not whether it's happening. Thank you for being part of it.
You know what?
That's a rare thing.
You'd figure that after the pandemic, right, when people were all stuck in their houses and we saw like the environment improve drastically with all the air travel and all the car travel cut back, you'd figure that would have convinced a huge number of people that, hey, maybe we're doing something to fuck things up.
We had evidence of that before that, though, long before that. Back in the 70s, California, and anyone used to watch the Johnny Carson show, that Johnny Carson had like one smog joke a night, at least one smog joke a night. And then California cleaned up their act between all of their regulations. Their air got cleaner. Okay. And so we have like evidence right there.
Yeah.
And we've seen the things where a dust storm will happen or a volcano will happen in Europe or someplace, Hawaii. And then after a while, the ash cloud will show up here and it'll be colder or cooler for a few hours while that ash cloud passes. So the evidence has been there all along. It's just that people are just fucking stupid. I think it's a technical term.
Wow.
Moron.
Yeah, you have. I mean, you almost have to be some. You have to have some sort of mental disability, I think, to ignore all of the evidence and say it doesn't
Although
exist.
I think that's the paradox to why we should not be responsible for dealing with climate change. And so much of the language has been on, you got to recycle, you got to, get an electric car, you have to use less energy. And that's stupid. The fossil fuel industry is responsible, right? They're the ones who fundamentally are going to make the change. It's big industry that's responsible. They're the ones who are going to make the change. The reason we're so fucked when it comes to climate change is they expect individuals to figure it out, and most individuals can't. Right?
Yeah.
They just can't compute. And so they've offloaded responsibility onto the little people, and that's why nothing's happening, because it's fundamentally big industry and fossil fuels who they're the ones who could make a difference, but they're making too much money to bother.
I said because they know it eating to their profits. I don't know if you ever, there was a remake of a movie with Warren Beatty. I think it was Heaven Can Wait, and he comes back as like a millionaire or something in charge of this company, and he says, "We can be the guys that care about the tunas. We can care about the dolphins. We can. Would you pay a penny more to save this dolphin? And that's the way they should be going, but they don't want
Any more to save a dolphin? I don't know. I got to meet the dolphin.
Well, that's
because some of them are predators.
All of them are
rapists
predators.
too. Steven, by the way, you got to get on that mic like you got on my penis last night, like really on it. I mean,
like this.
Yeah.
Is this better?
That's better.
I know. And my wife and I lived in Florida for a little bit, not as long as the other guy there, but we lived there for a little bit. And there were a few markets. There was an attempt to give migrant workers extra money, and the thing was to charge basically a penny more a tomato, and that's it. And the stores would have to charge a penny more a tomato. We would pay the penny more, but that extra penny would go into a pool for migrant workers so they could get paid more. And there were like two major chains that said, "Fuck no, we're not doing that." And one of them was, I think, Publix was, I think, one. And I think the other one may have been Kroger's. If I'm misspeaking, forgive me and correct me. But, but they wouldn't do it. And it was
if you misspeaking, may you be struck down by a bolt of lightning. Say that.
I've been struck twice. I don't do 3 times the charm.
This is what I'm hoping for. I mean, if in the future, that is.
Can you do it on camera though, so we can have it for the views?
Yeah, that's what we want. That's definitely what we want. I had this whole.
Fuck you! You have no idea. Do you want your penis filled again? No. There's some pains you don't need to have again.
Listen, I'm with Matt now. I'm not a fan of the whole drill talk anymore. So can we not talk about that, please?
Not with me. He's not with.
This weekend was not fun for me. I got drilled. All right, it was not fun.
Okay. Jesse, talk to me about where AI falls into what you talk about, because obviously AI is here now in the present. I have for a short time here, like it hasn't been like part of the forefront of our culture for all that long, even though they were working on it. They were working on it for a while, but I feel like it's hit a wall. Like I don't see anything new happening with AI. It just feels like people are creating the same apps or copycats of the same app, cookie cutter stuff. What's your take on AI?
So had Trump not won the election, I was predicting that the AI bubble was going to burst in this quarter, if not by spring. But now that lies are the regime, now that propaganda is the way of the world, I think AI will be able to continue. It has hit a wall. But allow me to push back and say we've all been using AI for over 2 decades, and it's called a search engine. And what we're seeing now is an evolution of that. But I think the best analogy is the Wizard of Oz, because everyone thinks that it's Terminator. Everyone thinks that it's, some god slouching to Bethlehem to be born. But really, it's Mark Zuckerberg behind the curtain. It's Elon Musk behind the curtain. It's Sam Altman behind the curtain, pulling the strings. In that contemporary AI is much closer to puppetry than it is magic, right? In the sense that all these models are calculating a lot of stuff. They're calculating which word comes after which word, and it's a great word processor. but none of it thinks. None of it will ever think. And yet it's being used to justify all sorts of crazy stuff. So that's where I'm critical of AI. I use it as a technologist. I play with it. There's a lot of things it can do, but I agree it's hit a wall. And I don't think anyone's going to notice that unless they have critical thinking skills.
Or they like I play with it too. And then I use AI every once in a while too.
But you have critical thinking skills quite clearly, right? And that's where, unfortunately, we are the minority. To go back to that point about climate change, and I think AI. I'm working on an idea right now called AI nationalism. And it's a way of reframing our current authoritarianism, right? That we're seeing in China, in America, in Iran, in North Korea, rather. There's this nationalism that's combined with surveillance technology. It's combined with kind of big data and using AI as a form of population control. So AI nationalism is using AI for propaganda, using AI to manipulate and deceive people, while at the same time saying, make America great again. Or
we've already been using AI for population control. We just didn't realize it because all these young people have been stuck on their phones and not having babies.
Yeah. So and that's where, for me, again, I didn't think he was going to win the election. I was obviously wrong. I was deluded. I was hanging out with smart people. And unfortunately, smart people are an endangered species. And AI, like Jordan Peterson, makes stupid people feel smart.
Yeah.
And that's really one of its primary appeal and why we're seeing the regime rise as it is.
That's a good point. I know every dumb person I know thinks Jordan Peterson has the window to really important knowledge and wisdom. And it's just like, no, he's just a grifter, man. He's selling books. That's what he's doing. But yeah, you know what? I didn't think Trump would win either. I was shocked by it. I've been in a depression because of it, and now I'm thinking about the future that doesn't exist, and I'm filled with anxiety about it.
And that's why I think most importantly it doesn't exist. That right now, if we were to all bet on the future, it would be a pretty dystopian future.
Yeah.
So I say disbelieve in that and start imagining one you want. And I'm currently working on this project called The Future of Authority, and it's a play on words because we're in an authoritarian society. So we need to see a future past it. We need to see a future past authority. We need to see a future past this hellscape we find ourselves in. And I acknowledge that's imagination. We're making it up, but it's a lot better than all the alternatives.
One of the alternatives is to get rid of the oligarchs. I mean, there's several methods of getting rid of the oligarchs. There's legislation which is not going to happen, at least in the next few years.
It's all a part. It's all you can read.
But now you're being a futurist.
Book, 7 Methods to Get Rid of the Oligarchs by G.D. Fenderson. It's available now wherever books are available. They still
wherever book is available. Yeah.
Wherever they're not being burned.
What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say. I predict dementia in my future, and there it is. This idea of not being able to predict the future. I think if we study the past, because people say, where's America going? And I don't know but I think it's going to end like 1945 Berlin. I'm not a reincarnation guy, but I do feel like that Nero spirit just keeps coming back to test humanity. And I feel like it keeps ending the same way, with the guy burning down his own country and either disappearing or suiciding. And I'm pretty sure it's going to end that way again if he lives long enough. So that's the prediction I'm going to make about the future. I don't know if I'll be alive around. I feel like he's got the Keith Richards thing. He's going to outlive me. He's going to outlive everybody, and we won't get to celebrate and dance when he's dead.
Well, to your point, it does feel a lot like 1933 right now, and
it does.
And the analogies are strong, which is why we have to be thinking about how do we divert it so that we don't get to 1945. I want to have that celebration with you. I think that would be the wake that the world celebrates. And I hope it happens soon, but we should plan for it not happening soon. And, GD, I think you were engaging in some good futurism there, right? Where you were seeing the path to an alternative. So we don't end up in 1945, but somewhere better.
But that's a bad habit I have. By nature, I'm a problem solver. Or at least, even if I don't, I should say I look for solutions to problems because I don't have the power to solve the problems, but I do have the power to at least look into solutions for them. Now, but I had a question for you about farming. I'm going to make the assumption that the seeds you use are not genetically modified. Where do you get? Because right now, there's, as far as agriculture goes, there's a stranglehold on the good, wholesome stuff, and they're really pushing the modified stuff, the stuff that you have to have their stuff to make more stuff. So where do you find the good stuff that you're using? And did they try to price it out of the market?
So the secret to farming, and at the same time, as you alluded to, the problem with farming is when you lose sight of the local, right? Farming historically was community-based. It was based in your locality versus today's industrial farming. Like here in Canada, we depend upon seeds from Chile that are grown in our winter and then sent up. And they're, of course, as you noted, all genetically modified. They're all covered by, really draconian intellectual property that means you can't reseed it.
Right.
So what we do is we get our seeds from locals. Right. There still is in every community a local networks in which they have way more seeds from their growing season than they need. And they share it happily with neighbors. And we're also, because we are so far north, we were able to get our farm because it had been abandoned. It had been left to go to shit. And so our secret, the heart of our strategy, and let's see if I can even bring them up right now, is goats. You can't really see them because they're huddling right where my head sort of is.
Let's see two.
Yeah, but we started with goats. Goats ate down over all the overgrowth. They poop in terms of starting to fertilize the land. We then brought in sheep who also started to clear the land. So our soil, we started with animals so that we could make our soil with their poop. And then we start using seeds, which you can get from the local community. And I am both rare and common. I'm rare in the sense that most farmers are like 4th, 5th generation, right? Like they've learned everything from their father, their grandfather.
Yeah.
Versus I'm a new farmer. I've only been farming for like 7 years. And I'm what you could call a YouTube farmer in the sense that I knew nothing. But I've got all these farmers on YouTube who I can turn to at any moment to help me with any problem.
That's so weird.
And one of the first things I discovered is in every community, there are local breeds of livestock. There are local strains of seeds. There are all the elements that you would need for agriculture that are designed for your climate, your soil, your area. And that is outside of industrial farming. That is really within the realm of community farming. So to your point, the prices are really relatively affordable. In some cases, they're seed swaps, so people are just trading. But this is small time, grassroots.
Anything on YouTube, but farming was not one of the things I would think would be big on YouTube. Listen, I looked up how to skull fuck a guy in a wheelchair when Steven was over the other night, and that, of course, they had videos on that, but video on.
He still didn't get it right, though.
Well, maybe
you haven't looked up how to fuck a pig or how to fuck a goat. Farmers are all over social media. Are you kidding me?
That's so surprising, but I mean, where they find it? Because my idea of farming is that you get up before the sun comes up, and then you work until the sun goes down, and you're still not done, and then you're exhausted, and then it starts over again. Where do you find the time video?
So two parts to that. One, robots have taken over a lot of farming, especially industrial farming. John Deere basically just sells computers with blades. Their tractors, their combines basically drive themselves. Wow. So a lot of farmers are just sitting there in the tractor on their phone saying, I love Trump. Climate change is a myth. Whatever. There's a lot of right-wing crazy farmers. But the other side is podcasts. Podcasts are huge amongst farmers because you just have the earbuds on while you're doing your work.
Right.
Right. So you're, feeding the animals, mucking out the stalls, moving the hay, and you're just listening to stuff. And a lot of these guys, like on Twitch or YouTube, they'll have their phone there and they're doing what you guys are doing, just participating in the conversations. So it's literally all the world's knowledge is at your fingertips. And granted, there's a lot of farmers who are, captured by big business, who are slaves to John Deere. But there are many others who are fighting for better food, fighting, for a more just society in which copyright is not part of it, because farming was all about sharing, right? It was not, you're not competing against your neighbor. You're going to both win if you grow lots of food.
Right.
And that spirit's coming back.
A little while ago, I had bought a piece of property in Baltimore County, and my next door neighbor had like a 12-acre farm that he'd worked for dozens of years, put his 3 kids through college. And the person I bought my house from, they had a feud because the farmer didn't like the fact that the guy who owned the property that I bought would not take care of it. And the weeds and stuff was like growing, all the thistle and shit. And so when I bought the property, he wouldn't speak to me until he found out whether I was going to be good to the land. And when he saw that I was actually fixing the things that the guy didn't take care of, he came over and said to me, "I like you already. If you have any questions, talk to me. I will help you as best I can." And it was like he was in his 80s. And so every Sunday I would take plants over to his house and ask him, are these friends or foes?
That's amazing. He was in his 80s. That explains why he likes you. It's kind of like he's gone. He's shot. So.
Or he's wise and he could see character.
He was wise. But funny. Now the thing is, here's the thing that I have trouble with YouTube on, because there's some plants. I've always known there's some plants that are edible and can be used for things that we just don't realize it. The thing is, on YouTube, you don't know if they're pulling your fucking leg anymore. Because at one point, it used to be like you get books. And for some reason, if I saw it in a book, I believed it. Because someone took the time to research it, and so if it was a book, it was fine. But on YouTube, you just don't know. You just don't fucking know until you're like, it says this plant is edible.
Yeah. But just to kick back on that just a little bit, the guy in the movie Into the Wild was studying plants from books, and he still ate some poison stuff and died up in Alaska. So,
well, I understand that. I'm just saying, at least for my edification, I trusted books more than I trust YouTube.
I mean, maybe this brings us back to what I call the moron problem. That, we assume that society's made up of enlightened, well-thinking people, when in reality, it takes a lot of effort to have critical thinking. And YouTube requires way more critical thinking. It requires even more experimentation. I mean, one of the benefits of living with animals is they eat everything. And that's how you figure out what's poisonous or not. We've lost a lot of birds and other animals that way.
Poisonous to them, not to us all the time, or vice versa. There's some things that the raccoons out back can eat, and if I touched the same thing, I'd be like,
well, maybe this is why farm families used to have a lot of kids.
Are you a vegetarian? Are you a carnivore? Or
so I am a little. So I shouldn't say a little. I'm very political about that stuff. I think that veganism is a sibling of Nazism. I think that eating meat is central to our diet as humans, but I also think we have to eat lots of plants too, right? Like you have to have both a diversity of plants. Animals have to be part of your food system. They're what make the nutrients in the plant so healthy. But I think most importantly, it's about eating local. It's about eating food that was produced as close to you as possible. I love my fruit in the middle of winter. Don't get me wrong. But from a health perspective, from a diet perspective, you want to be eating food that's grown from soil that you are near to, because it all comes back to bacteria, right? And the stuff in your gut. So I say balanced diet. I'm very much in favor of animal farming and animals being part of farms, but not factory farming and not animal factory farming. Which I think people confuse.
Let me just push back slightly on this, because I agree with you that in best case scenarios, you probably want to eat stuff that was grown close to you. But where I live, the ground is so poisoned. We have a nuclear power plant that never opened up. We have Tesla's lab is right my back door here. It's just like the ground here. The water table is poisoned. The ground is poisoned. When I turn on my faucet, it's just like brown water comes out. So basically, everything is bought water. So in my case, no, I don't want to.
Although I would argue that is kind of grounds for a revolution, and that once that revolution happens, that ground can be remediated, right? That ground, that water table, all of that can actually be repaired. But to your point, you'd have to remove the Tesla lab first. You'd have to remove the industrial kind of operations around there, and then start the long process of reclamation.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to push back on is you compared veganism to Nazism. I think it's more like Jehovah's Witness than necessarily like.
Okay, that's a fair negotiation.
Yeah, because I do find that a lot.
I think that's fair too. Yeah,
they just are gung ho and converting people. It's like, you know what? If it works for you, it works for you. Yeah. For me, I've tried it. I'm not really a big fan of it. I think I agree with you. I think there is a certain amount of animal protein that we were intended to have. That's my belief.
And to your point, the fascists don't want to convert us. They just want to kill us.
Right. I'm not trying to make them into carnivores. I'm not saying you have to have a burger, force a burger down your throat. Now, it would be difficult for me, though, if because I now these guys are going to make fun of me for saying this. I like to get to know my animals, and it would be really difficult for me to raise them, kill them, and eat them.
So we did that with a cow. Her name was Monch. We bought her for $50 as a calf. She was basically being sold to kill, right? They were selling her just to get rid of her. We picked her up. We fell in love with her, raised her for 2 years. She became a huge cow. We wanted to knock her up so that we could then do dairy, right? And then have a child. But we couldn't find anyone nearby who would help us with the artificial insemination. So we shot her and we ate her. And we called it the Year of Monch, because I think we got 800 pounds of beef, and it lasted us well more of a year. And it was a source of joy. We loved Monch when she was alive. We used to play soccer with her and run around the pasture, but we loved eating her because it was like honoring her, right? It'd be like, oh wow, she had a great life, and now she's nourishing us. It was very joyous.
Like the Native Americans' outlook on when they would kill an animal, they would honor it by eating. I mean, it was important to not to let the animal die in that way, and keep it alive in that way. So,
and we do that with our pigs as well, where they all have names, and we butcher them, we eat them, we honor them. It's the greatest pork belly you'd ever have.
Wow!
I tried to honor my mother like that because we knew she was dying, and I wanted us to be able to share. And and my family's like, well, we can't eat mom and nana. That's wrong. And so I proposed the idea that we just throw her in the bay and let the crabs eat her, and then we eat the crabs.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, but again, I was the crazy one, so we had to just put her in the ground, and there she is wasting away, and she could have been great crab food. Crab food.
You could go eat the worms.
Well, and not just that, but one of our most productive plots of land started off as a graveyard where we buried some of our dead animals, and then it became a compost, and then it became one of the most fertile parts of our growing areas. We had like 100 square foot squash kind of vine because graveyards become very fertile soil.
Right. If you do it right, because otherwise, because the way we do it, it's not right. We embalm them and then we put them in these containers that are not exactly composition friendly.
That's true. Yeah.
So my mom's just going to waste.
It's like we become Twinkies.
Okay.
I gotta update my will now. I gotta insist. I'm buried in the garden. I want to be growing some really killer weed.
Well, my wife and I both agreed to be cremated. Now, my wife, when she's cremated, if she goes first, I'm going to have her cremated and then have her ashes turned into an abode for coral life. So, because she loves the ocean and coral, scuba, snorkeling and stuff like that. So, take her ashes, make an abode, put it on a coral reef, and then she could be where she really loves. Me, I just want my ashes spread out over the mountains because I love the mountains or the water or wherever. Whoever will have my ashes is where I want them. Right now I have an agreement that my ashes will be in a museum. A friend of mine has a museum.
I was gonna say I'd be happy to put you in like trays in the bar.
Well, I have two options for my death. I either want to be buried in a tree pod, where they put you in this tree pod and you grow into a tree, or I want to be mixed with some really, really top shelf grade A Colombian Bam Bam, and I want to help my friends have one last hurrah.
No, that would not be good.
Or you can have your ashes cut with some cocaine.
That's what I said, Colombian Bam Bam.
I'm sorry. See, I don't know what I thought. Honestly, when you said Columbia Bam Bam, I thought there's some kind of pot.
I thought he was talking about a different episode of the Flintstones that I missed.
I was gonna say kids lingo these days.
I want to be mixed with some cocaine, and I want to help my friends have one last hurrah.
I have to be somewhere at 12, so I'm rolling now. But because he said killer weed, and that reminded me. But we'll continue.
He's got to go get his weed.
Yeah.
Well, before his coupon expires at 12 noon.
These big bamboos or little bamboos or whatever kind of bamboos they are, they're screwed up now. They have things that they put it like it so it looks like the glue is here. Obviously, I don't know if you can see this. You can't see it.
I've gotten lazy. One of the benefits here in Canada of legalization is there's such a diversity of pre-roll packages.
Right.
So all different sorts of strains, all different sorts of sizes. Like I'll still roll one. Like last night, I rolled a salad, right? A kind of black and green combo. But normally it's just like packs of smokes where I'll just keep them in my jacket pockets. And then that way, when I'm farming, I can just pull out a smoke instead of.
Yeah, I happen to be at the reservation. This is what we call it. My people call it where we live, where the white people made us go. But they're selling packs, like Marlboro packs of cigarettes, they're calling them, but it's weed. They look like cigarettes, and it has filters on it. Like, I don't want to keep the filter, but it's in like a regular Marlboro box. It's like, that's a cool thing. 20 a pack. I don't know what it costs because I'm too cheap.
Can't wait
when I was
visit New York.
When I was 12, my mother had taught me how to roll a joint, and so I had learned my technique. It was like a family technique. I learned from my mother. My mother taught me. So I had this technique that eventually I would have passed on to my kids. But when I got to high school, one of my teachers saw how I rolled my joint, and they thought I was a barbarian. It's like, whoa, the paper to weed ratio is atrocious. So my teacher showed me how to roll a joint the proper way and make it look like a cigarette. I mean, I could roll she didn't have to twist the ends. It was packed tight. No waste and
so what's the secret? Share your wisdom.
Yeah.
He's like Joey Mignani in Black.
You want a secret with white man? No, that's
fair enough. Fair.
So I went home to show my mother, and my mother got so pissed off that first of all, she's like, "How dare you?" It's like I upset the apple cart. It's like our family's been rolling reefer like this for years, and you come along and you get this school teacher who teaches you a better way to roll a joint and. I was ostracized from my family for having the
disrespect. Yeah. I was always taught the 2 mounds technique, that you want to kind of gap in the middle so that then when you roll it, it fills the gap and you get the perfect cylinder. And then that way, if you want the cone, you make one of those mounds bigger and one smaller, and that'll give you the nice cone. But the 2 mounds with the gap in the middle gives you the error room, gives you the space to kind of, if your fingers aren't right the first time, it still gets a good roll.
Right. We're listening to Weed Talk in the Morning with Jesse Hirsch.
Wake and bake.
Yeah.
Wake and bake.
One of the cheat sheet questions that I have for you, and it's intriguing to me, so I have to ask it. I usually don't use the cheat sheet questions, but it says, what is the answer to life, the universe, and everything? The universe is what I'm really curious about. Are there multiverses and parallel universes?
Yes, absolutely. And first, to answer the first question, the answer to life, the universe, and everything is 42. Now that we've gotten that out of the way, every decision we make in life spawns a completely different universe. So if you go back to, that girl in high school you had a crush on, or that boy in high school that you had a crush on, and you didn't get with them, a completely different universe exists if you did get with them. And perhaps if you meditate or get high, you'll be able to sense that alternative. I brought Ron. You're leading in like I've said something really deep to your core there.
I think.
Well, I'm just thinking, like, if you're rubbing one out and you drop a load in your toilet versus in your trash can, what kind of future effect that has?
Well, in some universe, a Finch got pregnant and is having your Ron baby now.
Now that might be only a minor variation in the time-space continuum, but it's still a variation.
Yeah, like you created a variation where the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are actually a bunch of just yous.
Well, I'm saying, what happens if you're like in a public place and you decide instead of holding that fart in, you just let it go?
Never hold that fart in. Why would you hold the
so
fart
what
in?
happens then in the future? Is the woman that was standing by the emergency exit suddenly go into the bathroom versus before?
No, more like
you're
you're
going to go to the bathroom and put a cocktail weenie down her throat.
Or she's
thinking far too short term.
Or she's interested in dating you because she realizes that you're so open that you're willing to just let one rip with her there.
That's
the guy.
right.
That's the guy I want. Someone who can be that open and honest.
Yes, that is why you always let it rip, right? Because you by far will get the hot chick if she knows that you are so cool you don't need to hold it in.
See, this is a window into the way Ron's mind was working, because I was thinking like in terms of I should have called for a fastball instead of a curveball. He goes right to the jizz in the toilet idea. So
valid divergences in the space-time continuum, but yes, the universe exists in infinite iterations. Why is it that we only experience the one we're in? Why is it we can't experience parallel ones? But to where we started the show, why can't we remember the future?
Right. Well, yeah. Now, here's why I brought this up, because we got all these crazy, people who just are fanatical about UFOs and aliens, and people like Steven who want there to be aliens visiting this dopey little rock. And but most of these people are libertarian. Steven used to be a libertarian. He really still is, but now he's a libertarian in denial. But a lot of these people are libertarians, and they're saying, well, the government is deceiving us. Government is no good. Government is no good, but we're depending on the government, United States government, like it's the only government on the planet, to protect us from this. So at the same time, they're saying government is no good, government is lying to us, government is deceiving us. Why isn't the government protecting us, doing more to protect us from this stuff? It's really confusing. Do you think, because Trump is promising to disclose all this stuff about UFOs, JFK, all this stuff, do you think there's anything to this whole UFO stuff going on right now? Aliens from another, universe, another planet?
I do think we're in the midst of a mental health pandemic. I think the anxiety and craziness and hallucination of certainly the American populace, but I think the globe, we're going to hallucinate anything and everything. No, I do not believe that the government, that people are witnessing aliens. Certainly, I believe in extraterrestrial life. I'm not entirely convinced we could perceive it.
Or they would give a shit about us.
Exactly. But at the same time, I think culturally, this obsession with aliens is a direct correlation to the xenophobia around immigrants. Right? If we're othering these aliens and at the same time saying we're going to send, ICE to round people up into deportation camps, I can't help but connect the dots there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think one of the maladies, one of the mental health disorders that plagues most Americans, I can't speak for those present, but that plagues most Americans is not realizing that life exists outside of America. So how do we know that these aliens are just Europeans? Right? Like this is what's so weird about America's conception of the universe. Not only is there that problematic relationship with, like, quick tangent, I loved South Park's explanation of 9/11 conspiracy theories, that the 9/11 conspiracy theory was about believing the American government was competent.
Right.
When in reality, it's probably not.
Right. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. We can't see, listen. If we invade Canada, then we'll think of Canada too. And if we invade Mexico or whatever, the plan.
Look, the sad part is you don't have to invade Canada. There's so many morons in Canada who would be like, "Please, Mr. Trump, be our president."
Really?
And that, yeah, it's really scary.
I think I agree with you because every Canadian except for you, not every, but the large percentage of the Canadians we've had on the program seem to be very right wing, whatever. But people on Twitter are saying no, Canada is a very liberal country. It's like, wait a minute, you're not talking to the Canadians I'm talking to.
No, I mean, like the United States, the liberal Canadians control a lot of the media, so their voice tends to have a lot of influence. But Canada is a very right-wing country, and there's a lot of quote unquote gerrymandering in our electoral system that has kept the Liberal Party in power. But the right-wing party is going to win the next election easily. Almost all of our provinces, aka states, are governed by right-wing governments. Again, no one knows how fucking serious Trump is.
Right.
But if he wants Canada, Canada's going to bend over backwards.
If Canada wanted to resist it all, I think they would kick our ass.
Oh, there will be a resistance either way, especially from First Nations, especially from, a lot of the cities, because there are a lot of radicals in the cities. But the people who own Canada, the people who own the resources, the mines, the oil, the water, they would love to be part of America because they become even more wealthy. And this is where, again, no one knows how serious this guy is. I think we're not going to be the 51st state. I think we're going to be Puerto Rico, right? We're just going to be a territory without any voting rights and still subject to American authority and American law. But unfortunately, there are a lot of Canadians who would welcome it open arms. A lot of vocal ones who wouldn't, but the people who have the power and the money don't even give them a chance.
Well, here's the thing with Trump will say almost anything just to get attention. That's the first thing. And most of it's bullshit. Now, as far somebody mentioned about if Trump said he was going to expose what happened with Kennedy and with UFOs and all the other stuff, we saw how Trump deals with facts during COVID. Okay, during COVID, he had a team of scientists behind him, and they're saying these are the facts as we know them. And then he had the people who are saying to him, but if we use bleach and flashlights up the ass, we can get rid of COVID. And so Trump went with the bleach and the flashlight up the ass. Okay, so he doesn't matter what facts he learns, he's going to speak out on the things that makes the most controversy and the shit that he wants to believe in.
Yeah. Wait, the flashlight up the ass was about COVID? I thought that was just like a fun thing to do on a Friday night.
Well, both.
All right.
If you have the light switch on, it's for COVID. If the light switch is off or there's no batteries in it or it's not vibrating, then it's just for a Friday night.
Okay. Thanks for clearing that up. Jesse, you run a podcast of your own, right?
I do. It's kind of a work in progress. I'm doing it partly just to learn the tech and get it going. But MetaViews is my brand, both as a newsletter, as a podcast, as an excuse to troll the far right. But I'm pretty inconsistent in that regard. Although I'm inspired today. This has been so much fun that maybe I should get my act together and have you guys do a kind of home and come entertain us Canucks.
Oh yeah, that would be good. But I'm curious with the meta name to it. Do people react positively towards that, or because meta?
It's a terrible association. I know.
Yeah, Zuckerberg has gone the way of Elon Musk now, and he's partnered up with Mark Andreessen. It's just like, what happens to these people? There's no transitional period, by the way. They go from being on the left to far right, like overnight, like no middle ground, no hop and a step. It's just straight jump to the.
I mean, that was 1933 Germany, right? That's the scary part. The way in which industry just decides to line up behind the wingnut.
Yeah.
I did MetaView. I created MetaViews, I think, in 2009, 2010. So this was before any of this meta nonsense. When Facebook changed their name, I actually thought of a rebrand. I kind of wanted to bury MetaViews. It was guilt by association. I was embarrassed. But, you know, in the last year or so, especially after the attempt to launch the metaverse failed and the crypto scams have kind of been exposed to scams, I thought, you know what? I'm going to reclaim the name. I'm going to stand my ground. You know, there's something real to Meta that these posers are, you know, just trying to riff off. So I guess fundamentally my stubbornness won over. And in spite of the negative association, I'm sticking with MetaViews.
That's good. And I hope it pisses Zuckerberg off to the point where, listen, he can't make you stop using it. He doesn't have any control over you other than letting you be on Facebook or Instagram or whatever.
Which I'd happy to be without. So
yeah. We do have to move along here, but the stuff about TikTok is just it blows my mind how people were. Listen, we had COVID, people dying. I didn't see people reacting the way they did when they lost their stupid videos of people.
So dumb. It was ridiculous. I was in the hospital and listening to nurses in the hallway go, I don't know what the fuck to do now when I'm not with patients. And I'm like, fucking do your job. Like, I don't know. I'm literally hearing my medical professionals in the hallway bitch about not getting on TikTok. And I'm just sitting here like, there's people dying right now. You all worried about your fucking dancing, booty shaking videos? Go fuck yourselves.
Yeah.
It's crazy. This world's nuts.
The future of free speech is in the hands of people who doing Walmart videos, pouring milk over their heads in the aisle of Walmart.
Yeah. And the conspiracy theory this morning, which I'm not ready to believe, is that Meta is going to be the one to take over TikTok.
Well,
and
Trump put out a thing that he's requesting for the United States government to be partners in it's like
state-based media.
The reason that conspiracy theory that Meta is going to take over is because when they did the shutdown, they moved their servers into Meta's servers in the U.S. as part of like what they considered like, well, since Trump's going to write this thing, this executive order, we're gonna try to not break the law as much. We're going to move our server to the U.S., which they moved them to a Meta data center in the U.S. and then they reactivated it for the U.S. So I think that's where that comes from, is because they moved their servers to a Meta server. So, and I mean, realistically, if it's already there, that's like one step closer anyway.
Well, Stephen, you're wanted on the set of Godzilla 5 right now. I'm saying that because you're still slightly out of sync. Anyway, Jesse, it's been a pleasure to get to know you here a little bit. Please do come back. I feel like we're just touching the surface on the stuff that you can enlighten us on, but we are out of time. JesseHirsch.com.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for being here. Bye for now. Oh, look at that, the way it lined up. I'm going to play some news. We have another guest scheduled coming in any minute, so we'll see about that after the news. I do have to get out of here right at 11. If you guys want to continue on after I'm out and just fuck things up and get me banned from every channel I'm on, that's up to you. But I have a hard 11 o'clock out. But right now, news.
Updated reports on the Los Angeles wildfires indicate that at least 27 people have died as several fires, fueled by extreme drought and high winds, continue to burn across the region.
Firefighters are battling blazes across 45 square miles of densely populated Los Angeles County. Roughly 82,000 residents remain under mandatory evacuation orders, with an additional 90,000 under evacuation warnings. The Eaton fire has grown to over 14,000 acres and is 73% contained, while the Palisades fire has spread across more than 24,000 acres and is 43% contained. Liam White reporting.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu described the initial phase of the ceasefire agreement as temporary, emphasizing that Israel maintains the right to resume military action if necessary.
Both President Trump and President Biden have fully supported Israel's right to resume fighting if negotiations on Phase 2 prove unproductive. I deeply appreciate that. I also commend President Trump's decision to lift all remaining restrictions on the supply of critical weapons and ammunition to the state of Israel, Netanyahu said. Benjamin Wright reporting.
As part of President-elect Donald Trump's plan to tighten border security, Immigration and Customs Enforcement is expected to conduct post-inauguration raids starting as early as Tuesday, sources revealed.
According to sources, the operations will likely commence in Chicago and could expand to other major cities, though plans remain subject to change. When asked about the timing of these raids, Trump called them a big priority but declined to confirm specific details, stating stating only that it will happen. Lawrence Keller reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
Rapper Busta Rhymes is facing allegations of repeatedly punching a man in the face, police reported Friday.
Officers responding to a 911 call in Brooklyn's Dumbo neighborhood said a 50-year-old man claimed he was involved in an argument when the rapper struck him multiple times. The victim was taken to the hospital with swelling on the left side of his face, according to authorities. Kyle Norris reporting.
A SWAT officer's bulletproof vest saved his life moments before he returned fire and fatally shot a fleeing suspect Friday in a suburb of Atlanta, according to the local police chief.
The Roswell SWAT team was executing arrest and search warrants when a man fled from a house and encountered an officer, Police Chief James Conroy said during a news conference. The suspect fired twice, striking the officer's chest, but the vest absorbed the impact. The officer then fired back, killing the suspect, Conroy said. Kevin Sanders reporting.
A child in San Francisco has been identified as the third confirmed human case of bird flu in the United States, with the source of the infection still undetermined.
Since April 2024, cases have been reported nationwide, with 67 confirmed as of last Thursday, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Most infections in humans have occurred after exposure to infected livestock, poultry farms, or culling operations. Jessica Oakley reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
I know the eggs in my area have gone up about $2 a dozen.
Same here.
In about a week.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry. All the prices are slashed today.
Yeah.
Only at Minucci's.
Because Trump's gonna, as soon as he's sworn in, everything drops. Remember?
Well, I'm not sure our guest is gonna show up here today because he's on the West Coast, and it's still it's almost 7:15, so quarter after 7 in the morning. And would you get up at quarter after 7 to come talk to us?
Absolutely.
You would?
Yep.
I've done worse things.
Same.
All right. Well, maybe he'll be here then. But here's the deal. I want to. GD, this is mostly for you, but the other two, Nazis want to chime in here. They're not Nazis. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for saying that.
It's like, Jesus, what do we do?
Right. So Trump is promising an executive order to overturn or to give TikTok free reign to stay in business, right? But he's suggesting that the United States government be partners in the money. Right. But I think I know this, but I'm just checking. Can an executive order overturn a law? Because it's a law. No. Congress has passed. The Supreme Court has validated the law. Can an executive order just bypass a law?
No. Now, what is there's something in the law. They wrote this into the law that the president could delay the enforcement of the law for 90 days if there's good faith negotiations in the process. For example,
how do you measure good faith?
Well, for example, if I understand Stephen correctly, they've moved some of their servers onto the U.S. soil, which is one of the
Stephen said.
That's why I said if
Stephen's Twitter.
Well, CNN and Fox News both reported the same thing. So
yeah, but they also reported that Biden had ratified the ERA amendment, and that's not true. He didn't ratify it. He just gave an opinion, and they should stop that because that's how we got into the mess we're in now because of an opinion that corporations are people, and that it was just an opinion of a justice. It was never a case, and they've used that opinion as if to support law.
And I still can't use the CapCut app.
You can't? Yeah. I didn't try.
Well, I've never used it, so it has.
No, it's still giving me that bullshit of blah, blah.
I didn't even realize that. I kept seeing the word CapCut in all these videos, and I'm like, what the fuck is CapCut? So I don't use CapCut, obviously.
To cut out the cap. No lie. No cap.
Yeah. And so Matt, he cannot do an executive order other than what they wrote into the law. He can postpone it for 90 days as long as there's a good faith effort. But if negotiations break down, I don't know if they will allow him a second.
This is going to go on all fucking year. This is just going to be something that goes on all fucking year.
It's going to be used as a distraction every time something gets crazy.
Here's what and listen, I shouldn't be baffled by the stupidity of human beings, but we knew this was coming for a year. Then all of a sudden, when it happens, people act like shocked. Like, wait a minute, TikTok. You knew the date, you knew everything for a year. You knew it was coming, and now you're shocked. It's like, come on, man. It's like, futurist. Being a futurist.
Okay, but that's how on brand is that? Think of all the people who are in school, high school, elementary school, junior high school, and the teacher says, we have an exam coming up. At the beginning of the year, they give you a syllabus that says, we will have exams on December 5th and May 5th, and then a final exam on June 9th or something. And the days come and the kids still haven't studied. They haven't prepared. And all of a sudden they go like, what do you mean we have an exam on the 9th? That's unfair. It's like,
some things you would remember though, like if they said we're gonna raid your house on Tuesday at 11:30 with armed military to deport you, you would remember that, right?
Well, they might remember it, and they still might not do anything about it. I mean, think about Trump and the Mar-a-Lago thing. Okay, because Trump was a former president or former occupant of the White House, they gave him all kinds of considerations. They knew when the raid was coming. They waited until he was out of town so there'd be no repercussion, so he'd be like, so, and what did Trump do? He, still said, hey, they unlawfully raided. We had no idea what was going on. My life was in danger. It's like, his life wasn't in fucking danger. They waited till he was in New Jersey to do the raid.
Wow.
So.
Yeah, but so whether they do anything about it, they're not going to act shocked. Oh my God, they came here to raid my house full of Hondurans. I'm so shocked. I'm so surprised by it. They know you know it's coming. You're not going to be shocked.
If you look at the rich white, especially the rich white guys, they got their houses raided and their phones taken away and stuff. They knew they were doing criminal activity. They had lawyers already, and they were still like shocked that they came and got the phones, and they were shocked that they came and got their computers, and then they were shocked that it's still.
I don't think so. I think that's acting shock for the media, which is different than the hysteria that we saw on social media on Saturday night.
That's fair. That's fair.
Are you a retard?
And I think some of the stuff on social media is also overacting. I've seen a few of those videos where they go like, my TikTok was gone for a day. It's like, your TikTok is like, I think it's not like they just stopped it for one person. They stopped it for like every fucking body.
Don't worry, no one's going to be talking about TikTok after. So what do you think? Do you think somebody, when they go and try and do some of these deportations this week, someone's going to get beat up really bad, like a kid, or someone's going to get shot?
Yeah, we need a Luigi for Jesse Waters, by the way. Jesse Waters needs his own Luigi. He's saying it's gonna be so much fun with seeing these military dragging these women and children crying out of their house. These are the people, and then wonder, why I can't be friends with these people who follow that nonsense. It's like, even if you really think that deporting all these people is the issue, if you're enjoying watching them be dragged out at gunpoint, children and women being dragged out at gunpoint, you're just a sadist, and there's something very, very psychologically wrong with you. And but to see one of their leaders on TV celebrating and giggling about it like it's going to be fun, fuck you, man. It's disgusting. So that's where we're at, unfortunately. The talk about shock. Trump launched a coin that went. It was like Hawktua, jumped up like $50 billion. His net worth jumped up $50 billion in a day, but then it started to tank. Now, people who follow the Bitcoin thing say it's tanking because Melania has just also launched a coin like the next day, and so hers started to go up and his will start to crash. But I'm like, if you pay attention over the last 40 years, you'll notice a pattern. everything with the name Trump attached to it crashes. Trump Airlines, Trump Steaks, Trump Magazine, Trump Casino, everything named Trump eventually crashes. 2 days for the fake money, that seemed a little quick. But Trump Media, how's your Trump Media stock doing? It's in the tank, right? He's going to have a Hawk Tuah thing on his hands. Now the thing with that is he gets to keep the money, right? Even though it tanks, he gets to keep all the money people put into
That's
it.
why that's why from the very beginning. I mean, when they first started making stock investments like 401ks available to the people, I was opposed to it because I said that they're just using our money to cover their losses so they can make more money.
Right.
You know, and so I was like against it from the very beginning, and that's pretty much all they do with it. It's and that's why they want
Social
their
Security.
Yeah, and that's why they want to get their hands on Social Security to cover their losses, so that they can make money and can continue to cover their losses using our money.
Right. Hawk Tuah just took the money and ran, right? She took the money and disappeared.
That's going to happen. That's going to happen about probably 2 years in. There'll probably be some major crypto crash, and a lot of his friends and he'll benefit, but a lot of people are going to lose some money. Then we'll probably have something where like, oh, people need money because everyone invested in this crypto.
To me, it would be worth it if he did pull a Hawk Tuah and just disappeared after it, like take your 50 billion and run or whatever. If he did that, 50 billion, I think she only made 50 million. To be fair to her, only. Yeah. But if he just took the money and ran, and I never had to hear from him again, I'd say that's a fair trade. So anyway, so the raids. You think the raids are gonna? Because they're talking about. I think that. If you truly were going to raid them tomorrow, would you tell them you're going to raid them tomorrow? Are they just that stupid?
Well,
Steven just ran. He heard about the raids tomorrow. He's gone.
He's got to hide his wife.
Well, how much
he took his whole Puerto Rican family and ran.
You just you gotta remember how much of it is show.
Yeah.
Right. So do you think they're going to start happening? And will it be televised? Will the revolution be will the deportation be televised?
Oh yeah, on TikTok too.
On TikTok. All right. It's mind blowing, man. Where we're at with all this stuff. I just
the question is, will like Muskie and Zuckerberg have the balls to air it and watch it unfold in real time?
This is where you have these people who are going to be celebrating it like it's a fun thing. Like I would be really. I hate to be an anti-American traitor. I hate to be that, but I would really love to see if one of these people that are going to get raided, a house that was going to be raided, was well fortified and ready for them, and had a major shootout where they win. They just put down all these ICE guys. It's not just going to be a cakewalk. These guys are, especially for the criminal element, you're talking, if you want to go towards innocent families, people who are just migrant farm workers and stuff, that'll be a cakewalk. But if you're going to go up against the people, the gangs and the cartels, and that you say you are really here, good morning. We have guns too. Not me. I don't have guns. I'm just saying. Right. All right.
We'll take your word for it.
Can I? Did you guys hear that? Remember OJ? You remember OJ? He wrote a book.
The juice or the juice or the black guy?
No, the murderer, the beheader. OJ the beheader.
Okay. Yeah.
He got acquitted, and then he wrote a book. If I Did It.
Right.
Trump.
Yeah, I know.
Trump last night was, having his little rally there, his victory lap speech, and he was giving Elon Musk credit for he knows computers about anybody, and all these counting machines we wouldn't have won, and we won Pennsylvania big because of him. It sure sounds like a confession because they can't do anything to me anymore. Tomorrow I get sworn in and they can't touch me. And I'm just going to tell you, yeah, we stole the fucking election, and Elon, thanks to Elon for rigging the machine. There's no other way to really interpret what he's saying now.
Well, also, what Elon also did in Pennsylvania was he did that little thing where he said, register to vote, and you have a chance to win $1 million or whatever the prize was. And so, and most of the people that registered to vote were Trumpers who just sat back, and that's why I was saying to people, look, I don't care if if you're a progressive, you can still register to vote and enter the contest.
Right.
Register to vote, and if you win the million, give half of it to Kamala Harris. And if you don't win, you've registered to vote.
But Trump came straight out and said, because Elon knows more about computers than anybody, and these voting counting machines, it's thanks to Elon for us winning big. Now, nobody's going to even ask, well, what exactly did Elon do with the counting machines? Because it sounds like a confession to me, and there's no other way I can read that other than a confession.
Yeah, or he's full of shit. I mean,
why would he say that? I mean, I could see. I agree. He's full of shit.
Maybe he just doesn't have an understanding about how shit works, and he's just thanking Elon because he thought Elon had more to do with it than he did.
See, I don't know. I'm willing to wait as long as there's reasonable, intelligent people looking into it. I'm fine waiting. Okay. Now, if there's nobody looking into it, I don't know what I can do about it because I'm not Pennsylvania. I guess it'd be Ron's jurisdiction. Be up to Ron to look into it. But I have no sway in Pennsylvania. I have hardly any in Maryland.
I think that's exactly why he feels free to confess, because nobody can do anything about it, especially like in an hour and a half.
But what does it even matter at this point? I mean, we let the guy get away with the hush money. He's a convicted felon and
unregistered sex offender.
Yeah, and so the sad whites are excited because they feel like they're lost something, but when prices go up and keep going up, the economy crashes, and there's more crime. Enjoy it, America. Enjoy it. I just hope people actually have the backbone to stand up to the bullshit that's coming. Yeah, and I can't. I'm really excited to see when like the ATF or the military accidentally kills some immigrant when they're pulling them out from some building and something bad really goes down. I want to see the dance then.
It would be more, listen, I hate to be, this makes me seem evil, but I hope they make a mistake just based on profiling and kill a natural born American citizen in their
It will happen.
Deal.
It will. Something dumb like that will happen.
Yeah.
The problem is when we find out about it.
And the other thing is not problem, but the other flip side of the fallout from that. Will MAGA even care enough that it's just it's just part of collateral damage. It's just a part of the way it's going to work. And no, we don't care. We don't care about that fireman who got shot in Butler. We don't care. It's just an expendable life. So maybe it has to happen on a grand scale, but I would definitely like to see them fuck up. It doesn't look like our guest is going to be here, does it? Are we over time? Past the time when he's supposed to be here? Yeah, wait. Yeah. Brad Elder was his name. And Brad Elder is his game.
Yeah, Brad Elder from Texas.
Yeah, and anytime I'm prejudiced, obviously, but anytime I see somebody's from Texas, I'm just assuming they're a Trumper. They're a hardcore conservative. And I don't know that about the man. I was going to ask him directly, like, is everybody from Texas just like as red as can be?
No, because there's Austin. At least Austin used to be a liberal town.
Used to be.
I mean, I'm not familiar with
now Austin is not. Austin used to be. I agree. Like the Willie Nelson, Waylon Jennings, Austin was definitely progressive
before Rogan and all that moved into Austin. Sure,
now you have foul-mouthed teacher. No, foul-mouthed teacher is not that. I don't know
Austin is
what they
turning to San Francisco, and because they've had all these tech bros and shit, and these tech companies move to Austin, and now things are so unaffordable for people because houses that were going just a few years ago for like 200,000 are going for like $1.2 million.
Damn.
Yeah.
Uh,
So that things will get worse in Austin because you have all these fucking people moving in, driving up the price and shit. Welcome to America, everybody.
Some dude on Twitter, I spend way too much time on Twitter. I wish Twitter would go down. He was talking to who's the progressive woman on the 5. They have 4 like MAGA people and just ganging up on this one woman, Jessica. I don't remember her last name, but he was saying, "I pity you and people like you who just are negative and want to see Trump fail. Why wouldn't you want to see him succeed?" And like that is such a lame argument. Would you want to see Hitler, support Hitler and hope he's successful just because he's the leader of the country, or would you want to see him fail at his? It's kind of like makes sense here. It's not unpatriotic to want a bad guy to fail at what he wants to do. If you're talking about things that actually will help, give me a policy, and I'll if it's a supportive policy, something I think will work, I will get behind it. But I can't think of one thing, literally one thing that Trump has proposed that sounds like a good idea for America.
Maybe his Operation Warp Speed, but I'm not sure of all the fine details in it. But basically, my understanding was that now, if he removed the red tape so that they could work faster, fine. But if he gave them like immunity so if they fucked up and started killing people, that's not so fine.
Yeah.
No,
because it's built on profit though. But I believe in the beginning, all the vaccines were free, right? Or were the government subsidizing the big pharma for doing that? And
the government was paying for it, yeah. So they were still making money.
Right. Was there a kickback? That's what it will be good to know if there's a kickback, right? So you talk about Operation Warp Speed. Biden has proactively pardoned Fauci, that other doctor, the woman, I can't remember her name.
Yeah. Next scarf lady.
And the January 6th people. Now, I have a problem with that because that's assuming, doesn't a pardon attach guilt? Like we recognize that you actually did a crime, but we're pardoning you. Isn't that in some way?
My understanding, I think there's 2 different types of pardons, and I think if you actually committed the crime, that's one thing. But if you haven't committed a crime or haven't been found guilty of the crime yet, because, like, for example, Nixon's pardon, I'm
not a crook.
Crime. Nixon already committed a crime, but he also got pardoned for things that they may not have known about.
I think it's important for people to understand that the president is not a crook. I am not a crook.
Yeah. Right. So it depends, but one of the concerns is that there's some people, in order to accept the pardon, would be saying I'm accepting guilt as well.
Right.
And to be honest, if their guilt is I was doing my job,
that's a Nazi thing. I was just following orders.
No, I'm just saying, like Liz Cheney was saying, look, I was doing my job. Congress, I was doing my job. I didn't do anything illegal.
Yeah. It's hard.
That's not quite the same as I was following orders as I was following the Constitution.
The people who think that Liz Cheney was just out to get Trump, if that were true, she voted on his agenda more than Jim Jordan did. She voted straight along line. Like she was not a never Trumper ever in her life. She was supportive of the agenda. What a bridge too far was the insurrection, inviting people in illegally to overturn an election. That was a bridge too far from her. I don't think the conspiracy stuff makes any sense, but it usually doesn't make much sense. But they're going to go after her. She's been pardoned now, and they're celebrating because that takes away her Fifth Amendment Like, I don't think she was going to claim the Fifth Amendment.
Right.
Anyway.
That's just it. That's it. And see, to me, that's the beautiful thing. When you pardon someone, you remove away their Fifth Amendment rights to self-incrimination, which is why I think Biden should have, not Biden, when Trump pardoned Steve Bannon and Roger Stone, those guys, that's the time to go after them. Because now they can't, it's okay, yeah. Now you can testify. You cannot incriminate yourself. That's the time to go after them.
That was yesterday, and this is today, fellas.
Is it today? I think this.
Fortunately, it is today.
I think it's tomorrow.
For the black population.
Yes. Sorry, I love that sound effect.
Yeah. So I think it's safe to assume that Brad Elder's not coming. I think it's safe.
He'll show up at 12.
He'll show up at 12:15.
All right.
I'm sending your parents a letter. Tell them you're a whore.
Ron is back in his comfort zone. You guys got anything? Because I'm out of things to talk about. I really am.
So I mean, I sort of have some issue, but not really. But there is some backlash that Snoop Dogg is facing currently because
what's Snoop Dogg's motivation here? I mean, does he think he's going to win over the redneck crowd, or what?
He's just trying to make money. He's just making money.
How much?
Yeah, because it's we don't know how much money, but like Nelly is also performing at one of the inauguration events. Snoop performed at a crypto event that's tied to the inauguration, and there's a couple other rappers that are allegedly going to show up at some of these events, and some of those rappers are Rod Wave, Kodiak Black, and 5E Foreign, who I've never heard of.
No, I was just saying, because usually most of the time, the rappers that support Trump are rappers that you would never have heard of if somebody didn't say they were doing something for Trump. Most of the time. But my concern is that rappers that actually at one point had some of the old school rappers whose songs were about fighting the power and the man and fucking the police and stuff like that they become Trumpers,
Well, yeah. Well, I haven't seen Ice Cube or Dr. Dre line up yet. So,
well, I'm just ones along that ilk, ones that were actually anti-establishment become part of the Trump circle. That would be. I wouldn't say it would disturb me, because again, it's their personal decisions, and I don't even know them personally, and don't even know most of their music. So,
but with all these people that seem to be falling in with the Nazi lineup here, is it
fear? Is it fear? You think,
or just wanting to be on this? I don't know. That's what I was going to ask. What is the? Is it fear? Is it just wanting to be on the team that is on the popular side, the team that's winning, as Dylan would say? You just want to be on the team that's winning. I don't know why, because Bill Gates is kind of falling in. They hate him, right?
But Bill Gates, again, Bill Gates is doing it because of money. Okay, that's his thing. It's money and maybe access to power, but for the longest time, Bill Gates was like about doing good. And maybe, at some point he's like, okay, well, I can't do good if they're going to try to shut me down and try to fuck with me all the time. So let's see what I can do so I can keep providing clean water to places that don't have clean water. I can keep providing, buildings to places that don't have good buildings and stuff like that. And it's only going to cost me a little bit of my soul.
But if fear were the reason I brought up Gates is because if fear were the thing, they're not going to let him off the hook just because he's now saying nice things about Trump. They're still going to hate him, right? He's still going to be the enemy of MAGA, right? Or not.
Publicly, maybe, but that's what makes all this so funny. Seeing, I mean, Elon called it. He called the base subtarded. So, I mean, once they get into that office and all those back end deals that are going to happen, because you can see how quickly Bezos, Zuckerberg, they're all lining up to suck on that tit. We all know why Bezos is there, because they've talked about privatizing the post office. Who would benefit most from that? Bezos.
Yeah.
And then you need the other control the message end, which is Zuck and Musk.
But
and also, Bezos also has the Washington Post, which is like the paper of record in DC. So if you could get that under control, that's
I feel like if they're all lining up to get a seat at the table, understanding there's going to be no food left on the table, in a short period of time. It's just like, what are you hoping to get out of this? If it's not fear, I don't think it could. The opportunity here for them to get richer. How do you get richer when the whole world is in a global depression?
Yeah, because they don't get. I look. I will go without for I won't buy. I don't buy shit from Amazon anyway. Okay, so I can't buy less. I mean, my wife will occasionally buy something from Amazon, and that's usually she'll like look for something. Like she goes, I want to find a wireless mouse, and she'll go on, and then Amazon, because they control all the algorithms. Like, yeah, well, first 19 mice you find are Amazon, and you don't even get down to like Staples or Office Depot, someplace that might sell one as well.
Yeah.
And my wife isn't going to go through 20 sponsors. She'll go, okay, well, there's one. I like that price. I'll get it. And then we get a package from Amazon.
Right. So do you think, now this is a ridiculous question. I know the answer is already no, but I'm going to ask. Do you think this time tomorrow, the war in Ukraine will be over?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Okay. And matter of fact, there'll be peace in the Middle East. The war in Ukraine will be over. And all of the
egg prices will be down to 20 cents a dozen.
All of the dead people will be back with their families, all the dead soldiers. And the bird flu will be gone. Eggs will be back to, I think, a quarter a piece. No, eggs will be back to a dime a dozen.
And if you point out to like a hardcore MAGA person that, remember, he promised you day one, if you point that out, that he hasn't fulfilled that promise that he made for day one, that will just make them angry. That how dare you really take him at his word that he would get it done on day one? Well, what do you? Are you?
Did you see the hearings for? Did you see the hearings for Bessent, the guy who's being nominated for the Secretary of the Treasury?
What did he say?
Okay, this is a Democratic senator was questioning him, and he goes, "Okay, let's not debate this about whether or not Biden is responsible for the economy. I know that you believe that everything that's gone on in the economy, good or bad, Biden is responsible for." And he goes, "Yes." He goes, "Okay, so at the end of 4 years, if Trump cannot deliver on the things that he said he's going to do, lowering prices," and he went down this list, he says, "Are you going to blame Trump?" He goes, "Well, no, because there's other factors involved." And because there's like companies involved and legislation and this and that. And he goes, all these things that Trump are not responsible for, but yet Biden is responsible for.
But it's not a cult.
It's not a cult.
That's funny.
It's like in The Other Guys. It's like the movie The Other Guys. It says, "We're not going to, you can't bribe us again." He goes, "It's not a bribe." He goes, "You gave us tickets to the Knicks game." He goes, "It's not a bribe."
Yeah.
I just hope Grindr updated their servers to handle all that traffic.
Didn't they move it into Meta?
Oh, for sure.
I thought they just had to increase their bandwidth because they did. Because before their bandwidth was like this, but now they need, like, because of all the extra penetrating markets that are going to be going in there, penetrating traffic, they're going to have bandwidth like this, right? Okay.
So just to push back on, I'm not saying that Stephen got it wrong, but when I Google it, it said TikTok moves its U.S. servers to Oracle, not to Meta, which is a whole different company. And I've seen there are several here that says false accusations of TikTok moving into Meta, not true. And then Reuters, who is a pretty bipartisan news organization, said they moved it to Oracle. So once again,
I mean, that's
Stephen
probably better.
Yeah, Stephen is
Probably, that's probably better than Meta, where then because then Zuck could try to do something. So that's probably better.
All right.
Yeah, they won't get zucked off so easily.
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't like a monkey.
I said that's like those wasn't that a Flintstone song? No, Jetsons.
Yeah.
No, Wally
Chappelle
Walla
was
Woo Woo.
Chappelle was on SNL on Saturday. Did anyone watch?
I recorded it. I haven't watched it yet.
I did not. I was planning on watching it later today.
That's everybody forgot about that. I forgot about it. Did you watch it, Ron?
I did watch it. Yes.
And you laughed. You laughed hard. You get belly laughed.
Yeah, no, like the sketches can always be up and down. You never know what you're gonna get. Because I mean, it's a weekly show. His monologue or whatever the fuck you want to call it, that was pretty solid. He did like 18 minutes, 17, 18 minutes.
18 minutes for the opening monologue?
Yeah.
That's kind of long for them. That eats up like a good chunk.
Yeah, usually 5-6 minutes.
I wonder if they just didn't have enough sketches for that week or something.
No, I mean when he's coming on and you're kind of like on the eve of what's going to happen, you give him what he wants. I mean, they let him smoke on stage again too.
Weed or cigarette? Weed or tobacco?
Tobacco. He's just smoking a cigarette. But yeah, his set was pretty. I liked it. It was good because he hit everybody. He did not leave kind of like any stone unturned. He gave it to everybody.
Did he say something bad about me?
Oh, you were the master. You were the first one, man. He started off.
Did
he started off.
And he did nothing. He did nothing about trans. Nothing at all.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ben. He didn't talk about you. I was wrong.
Oh, so he didn't hit on me then. He didn't hit on me.
Well, no, I'm glad he did because I mean that record's been played over and over again, and so I'm glad to see that it's Dave being Dave.
You know what else is today? College football championship. Ayo.
That's right. And now, who are you rooting for? Ohio or Notre Dame?
Ohio State all day. Let's go.
Because I see the thing behind you, but I thought there was like
I thought Notre Dame was in your backyard, like Tesla's.
They are my back. I ain't rooting for no dirty Catholics. They can Catholic my balls. I ain't fuck no.
Dirty
Pope
Catholic.
Pinocchio can sit on it. I don't give a shit.
How do we know Notre Dame is dirty Catholic? Then there's no such thing as a good Catholic. Is that what you're saying?
Well, they are.
I'm sure there are, but
there are Notre Dame. They're Notre Dame. So I agree with it. They're probably dirty Catholics.
And what is Ohio State? What are they?
They're dirty scum.
It's a regular state school.
They're just corn eaters.
It's just a regular. No,
Buckeyes.
All right. And you now, is there a betting line on this? And have you bet?
No, I'm broke. I ain't got money to bet.
You're not a betting man. Why?
No.
Why would you care about college football if not to make some money for yourself? I don't.
Just kind of fell into it. I enjoy it. I enjoy watching it.
Can you name any of the players on both the teams?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Keanshawn Judkins, running back. Oh, the quarterback, Will Howard.
Wow.
So you could have said his name and Matt wouldn't know, and he would be like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, and I could. Jim Stewart.
You could have said Mike Hunt.
Yeah, you could say Rutger Hauer.
Now, Mike. Mike, let's go with Mike Hunt. Sucrets. Oh, well, it's probably not Sucrets. Microphone. I don't know. All right, that's the show for you. I gotta go.
No, Ron said he had a little bit of kind of sort of celebrity news, showbiz news.
Yeah, I just gave it to you.
Oh, without the introduction, we didn't have the introduction.
No, we don't need that just for that. Unless you want to talk about the village people performing tonight.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I was flipping through the channels and it came across fucking Fox News and there was just the village people with Trump and I was like, this still looks gay to me. I don't know what's happening. It still feels very gay to me.
Yeah.
Come, man. Right on my face. I said, come, man. No.
Oh, Trump was doing his Trump was definitely jerking off two dudes on stage while he was up there, while they were singing for sure. He was up there.
Does he know that it's what's fun to say at the YMCA is that you get to suck off your friend, Indian pal? Does he
Reminds
know
him
that
of
that's
school,
what the song means? It's
probably.
like, or butt fuck the cop or whatever.
Well, I think he just likes the word cruising, and it gives him the illusion that he's like sailing along smoothly, cruising. Not cruising bars looking for the next dick
Would
fix.
now you mentioned that like Stephen could have named any name, and I would have not been have a clue if he was right or wrong. Does anybody know if these village people are the actual village people or just some dudes dressed up?
I thought one of the guys was from the original, but I don't know the answer to that.
Nobody would know, right? That's my point. Like that, you could put up anybody in like an Indian suit and a cop suit and whatever. What's
Well, almost anybody, because some of them have certain build. Actually, their builds could have changed over the years. Because I thought the guy that played the Indian
they
was
had a
kind of
certain
tall.
build in the 70s, but now
Yeah.
it's 2025. You would expect. I think Trump even said some of them are larger, but that happens to people. I think so. Yeah, I think he was basically prefacing the fact that they're fake. We just pulled a guy off the street who was acting like a village person. He was actually in the YMCA. He was on his way to the YMCA when we grabbed him, and nobody would know the difference. That's the point. They weren't like name people.
Now, I'd be interested if they changed any of the words from YMCA for the show.
Are they lip syncing anyway?
I know, like for example, now this is dating myself and maybe a few other people, but when the Stones performed on Ed Sullivan and their song was "Let's Spend the Night Together," and they wanted them to change it to "Let's Spend Some Time Together," and I think they still went and said "Let's Spend the Night Together." But
that's right.
And I'm wondering if
his hands were.
Okay, you can do YMCA, but make the lyrics less gay.
And so, a young girl, young girl, what?
Thirst trap. Yeah, instead of saying young man, just yell thirst trap. Thirst trap.
On my Facebook right now, I'm getting an instant message from tomorrow's guest apologizing for not being here this morning.
That's
very nice of them.
Because there's no future.
Yeah. So we'll see if maybe she was just thinking, I'll just make an excuse. I don't want to do that dopey show. And now she's already blown that excuse by saying, I'm sorry, I wasn't here this morning. And me saying, well, you're actually not scheduled till tomorrow. Now you have to come up with another excuse tomorrow. You got to think really creative. Put on your thinking cap.
Well, tomorrow she can say, I still haven't gotten out of my driveway. I'm still snowed in.
Yeah.
That's
Oh my fucking god.
All the greatest hits. We're playing all the greatest hits. The top 40 music tracks.
Well, there's this one. We haven't heard this one in a while.
His hands were soft and supple.
Yeah, that's an old one.
Finish
Whatever happened to
inside
Schlong? That's the one I want. The Schlong division.
Let's just spend the next 8 minutes doing sound effects, then we'll just call it a show so you can leave.
Yeah.
Are you guys even a little curious about what I have to do at 12 noon today?
Welcome to Minucci's.
Going to Minucci's for lunch.
Yes, exactly.
Trying to catch the early bird special.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are you going somewhere to get?
That would be
You
4
should go to
p.m. like the early bird special.
because today is corn dog day. All the corn dogs are sold in the men's bathroom. All you got to do is put your money in, and the corn dog comes out the hole.
That's awesome, man. And then I heard you can take a nap there too, Matt.
Now, when the corn dog comes out the hole, do you get to pick where the next hole it goes in?
Do you also get to pick the condiment that comes out on it?
You disappoint me. If history has taught us anything, if we've learned anything, it's that you can kill anybody.
Yeah. I mean, technically, you can kill anybody, technically.
Well, you can't kill a dead guy.
Well, they're not anyone then. They're just a corpse.
All right.
But they are a body.
Sure.
Yes. A dead body is already dead. You can't make it dead again. You can't be dead again. Or maybe you can. There was a movie Dead Again, right? What was that?
Yeah, there was a movie, yeah. I think that was Shelley Long and some other people.
Right. All right, so that's the show.
Was that Hello Again? Dead Again was It was Emma Thompson and her husband. That guy. Because
Now,
Shelley Long was Hello Again.
So and I think it was Amazon Prime, maybe it might have been Netflix, but I think it was Amazon Prime. My wife likes to watch The Chosen, which is a Jesus series. It's a television series, high production quality on this television series. But I saw this movie, Jesus of Nazareth. I had to click on it. The cast, it's a 1970s movie, but the cast of this movie is insane. I can't believe I've never seen this movie. Everybody who was a star in any format, any genre in the 70s is in this movie, Jesus. I think even Edward G. Robert. No, it's like one of those, though. It's just like everybody's in it. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick. The cast of this movie. But it was
God's coming for you!
Oh, Ron, I started watching Night Bitch the other night.
Oh yeah,
yeah. It's funny. I'm only up to where she's found the tail, when she like pops a pimple and there's a tail.
Okay.
Have you seen the movie?
No, I started watching it, and then I got pulled away for other things, and I haven't.
Same here.
I haven't got back to it yet.
I just
want to see that my grandpa popped in for a second.
Like my wife put on that movie that new Cameron Diaz and Jamie Foxx movie, Back in Action, and I watched a little bit of that. I couldn't get into it. It's like, well, this is the same old. I've seen this before.
All right, here's
guys.
a
I
list
have a
of
dilemma
people
tonight.
If you know the 70s, like Steven knows the 70s like the back of his hand, you'll recognize all these names. But this is Jesus and Nazareth. Now, Jesus was played by a guy named Robert Powell. Never heard of him.
Right, he was an unknown back then.
But in the movie, Anne Bancroft, Ernest Borgnine, Claudia Cardinale, Valentina Cortez, James Farentino, James Earl Jones, Stacy Keach, Tony Lobianco, James Mason, Ian McShane, Laurence Olivier, Donald Pleasance, Christopher Plummer, Anthony Quinn, Fernando Rey, Ralph Richardson, Rod Steiger.
Wait, what did James Earl Jones? Who was he? Because I saw that movie. I don't remember him being in it.
Peter Ustinov, Michael York, Olivia Hussey. Every one of these names were big stars in the 70s, and it goes on and on. I'm just like, everybody in the movie, I'm thinking the budget for this movie had to be insane for all these actors to be in it. And I never even knew it existed. And just goes on and on. I mean, hundreds of people who were, like Rod Steiger. Come on. Just surprising to me. You've seen the movie? You know the movie?
I've seen it, yeah. But I don't remember James Earl Jones being in it.
Right, yeah.
Was he the voice of Darth Vader?
I don't. Why? It's hard to picture like a guy named James Earl Jones. Because what is he playing? Like a Samaritan?
That's what I'm saying. What? Maybe he was the voice of Herod.
Yeah.
Oh, you are the Christ. Yes, the great Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the black people in those movies are all Egyptians, right? That's what they are. They're Egyptians.
Maybe he played Joseph and he looked at Jesus and said, "I'm not your father."
Yeah.
You don't look like me. You don't look a thing like me.
People will come,
mother's
Jesus.
a skank
People
whore.
will most definitely come.
Maybe he was the voice of God when he went to talk to Mary. Mary, just so you know, you're gonna have my baby.
I lied. I didn't put on a condom.
Would you guys like to continue this without me, or are you just? I should just end it.
I'm fine with the ending.
Is that a yes or no? I'm because I'm going to leave.
Yeah, we can end it. Yeah, we can end it.
How do you end it? Do you know?
By saying, "Don't forget to turn on your radio."
End screen button.
All right. I just
my wife did have a question.
We have it's been a while since we've been on. By the way, for the audience, if you haven't figured it out yet, we're back on StreamYard at least for a month. I've remortgaged my house in order to pay for this month. But you're away from a platform for a while and used to those other dopey buttons on that other thing, and you might not know exactly where to find stuff. So you know where to find stuff, right? In media assets over there on the right. All right, so I'm going to leave. You guys just say bad stuff about me. Make it like, if you could, like that call hamburger stuff and just like really say just really mean derogatory things about me the whole time.
So will I see you at the thing tonight?
No, you won't.
Okay.
You know why?
You won't be there?
That's why.
Okay.
I have a paint party to host for 20 people.
Okay.
Yeah, you think okay. It's gonna suck.
Have fun, you know.
Oh. All right. But you give Tony Walker a big kiss on his missing leg for me.
I will hump his leg for you.
Okay. And see, yeah, now you'll get a chance to at least look at the giggle room while you're there.
Right, and I plan on, because one of the things I want to do is make sure I can get a ramp on there for Steve's chair.
Yeah. You know, I'm not sure a whole lot of people are going to show up, you know, a Monday night, whatever. But I would like to be there. If I didn't have to do my paint thing, I would like to be there. But I'm not going to be there. So you guys have fun. I'm out. Have a good.
Yeah, sure.
Whoa.
Which format we're going to use? This is fine.
Oh, I like this one because then you can wear the hood.
Oh, where the white women at? You got to leave it there long enough for me to say the magic phrase. Where the white women at? you gotta say the magic phrase. The phrase that pays.
So you guys excited for Friday, man?
Yeah. And I was about to say something about Lana. I haven't checked out her dry bar special yet. I was gonna check it. Because it's on. I'm just gonna watch it on Roku, and there's a promo code, so you can see it for free. So,
oh, nice.
And the promo code is her name.
Very cool.
So
it's nice to be back on StreamYard, man. This is nice. This is very nice.
I was wondering what he had to do to get back. Not what he had to do, because all he had to do was to pay money. But what was there any kind of negotiation? Did Matt say, suck me off? And then they go, no, you suck us off.
Oh, no.
You know, Matt, or Matt, you know, they said, Matt, we watched the show. We know how you were suffering at the other place. So we'll take you back, but it's going to cost you even more.
Oh, I love the sound effects so much. Man, I'm excited, guys. It's going to be a good time, man. You know what? I have a dilemma tonight. I don't know if I'm going to have football and wrestling on at the same time. Oh, God. Is that Trump and Chris Christie?
No, Elon Musk.
Oh.
I can't play the music, but the music in the background is YMCA.
I've seen a lot of AI generated memes with Melania and Musk in bed together and Trump watching.
Oh, that's happening.
I have this AI generated picture of Trump kissing Elon's feet, and it's great because it's two of the same feet that he's kissing.
You mean like two right feet or two left feet?
Yeah.
You just wait. When AI takes over the world, it's going to make sure we all have the same left feet.
And I think there'll be right feet to go with the right wing.
Oh.
I think if they do left, because I think left feet would be too contrarian.
That's true.
So now, I keep looking at my calendar. I am losing track of time so quickly this week. I'm just running out of time for things to do.
So, you said you're gonna look at the stage tonight.
The stage, right? Yeah, to see if I can put a ramp for the wheelchair. I've got
depending on what what I get to rent as far as the vehicle goes, I might be able to bring my own ramp.
Well, just in case.
Yeah. So, but it depends on what they put me in. I'm hoping that they'll put me in. I'm hoping for a like a utility van.
All right.
Because then I can put the ramp in, but I can also crawl out the back and get my wheelchair out by myself because I have to get gas. I'll have to get gas at least twice on the way there.
Damn. That's not counting stopping at 7-Eleven to eat their hot dogs, right? This is just, you're talking about petrol.
Oh no, I'm only eating like dollar menu on the way. I'm eating bare minimum. I got to make sure I at least have gas for there and back. Yeah.
Well, if you need money for gas on the way back, Ron will hit you up with what you need. Ron will take care of you.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that won't be the case, but
yeah, I got a busy week.
Scenario, I just have to. Worst case scenario, I just tie my chair onto the back of some truck going towards home.
Yeah, I'm going to Long Island on Friday. Then we're going to some friends in New Jersey on Saturday. Then on the Sunday, then I'm driving down to Cult Classic Brewing in Maryland for a show. Then coming home Sunday night.
Nice. I'm coming back. I literally plan on leaving Thursday night, hanging out, the whole thing for Friday. And then I might have a friend's house I can stay in Pennsylvania on the way back, about 3 hours from the club. So.
Okay.
Yeah,
that would be better than...
Well, it's either that or napping in the car. Either way.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be fucking cold as hell, I think, all week.
One of the things that bugs me is that I have a hotel room, and the check-in time is 4:00. I hate it. Why? I remember back in the good old days when check-out was 11, check-in was 12.
Yeah, if you call those, sometimes you can ask them for an earlier check-in.
Oh yeah, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, look, can I get in early? Because I would like to take a nap. In a warm place and not in my car before the show tonight.
Well, hey, if you got a hotel room, once you wake up from your nap, I'll come hang out until we go to the show.
Yeah, like I said, I have a hotel room. I'll see if I can get it on the ground floor. Oh, they have elevators, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure they have elevators.
Yeah, my check-in is 3, but that works out perfectly because just with driving there and shit.
I'm going to try to get there early enough to actually make an appearance on Tony Walker's podcast, Knock 'em Dead Comedy.
You know what? I might be in town early enough, so maybe we can both go in.
Sure.
Take over.
Yeah, because I'm going to try to be in. I'm going to try to be there Friday. I'm going to try to be there by 10 a.m.
I should be.
Are you leaving at 5 in the morning?
Yes. Between 4 and 5.
I'm leaving like Thursday afternoon. Like basically once I pick heading out.
And like I said, and I'm going there this evening. I'm gonna leave here. I'm leaving my house around 12, between 12 and 12:30, so I can go there for the thing tonight. Because there's a shopping center nearby. I'm gonna hand out flyers and bark and stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
I
wish I could join, man. That'd be fun.
And what's his face? Tony kept saying, you're a black guy in Long Island. You could be in trouble barking in the parking lot. I said, well, that'll sell more tickets because I'll be on the news. Black man arrested.
Disney comedian arrested.
They're gonna say black man arrested in Long Island. They're gonna say what? Black man in Long Island and he got arrested. Whoa! So. See what happens.
Cool, guys. I think we've hit another wall. Might be time to call.
We're going to hit many walls today. Many walls. My wife is out of town right now, and she's like, we're going to cross paths. She's not going to. I'm going to be out before she gets back. And with all the snow we had, I had to plow and salt, and that's what I was doing yesterday and today. This morning before the show started, I was out plowing and salting to make sure that my wife could get in, because she has a Prius, so she needs, she's like this much clearance on her car, so she can't, I had to. Let's put it this way: I did not want to come home Tuesday because tonight I'm leaving the party tonight at 10 a.m. I mean at 10 p.m. and so I should get home between 2 and 3 in the morning. I didn't want to get home and see that my wife's car is stuck in the driveway and I can't get because we have a 200-foot driveway. I didn't want to be like her stuck and then everybody. I had to push her out of the way so I could get up there. So because anyone who's ever had a wife knows you don't want to be out of town when she has a crisis because especially one that she's going to blame you for if she can't get in because you didn't plow well enough.
Fair enough. Yep.
So, Ron, are you bringing Lara with you?
Yeah, she's coming with me, and so we should get there sometime. Because I think I'm gonna leave between like 9 and 10. That way I can squeak in between rush hour traffic in that area because it's terrible. And yeah, so hopefully I should be there around 3 or 4.
Now, how far is the place you're staying from the hotel? I mean, from the club?
It's like 15 minutes, I think.
Mine says 11 minutes. It's supposed to be like 3.5 miles.
Yeah, I'm staying in Mineola or whatever.
Okay.
New York.
I'm in Hicksville.
Okay.
My wife laughed when I told her I'm staying in Hicksville, and she laughs. She goes like, "There's a place called Hicksville." I said, "In every state." I think
because all the hotels I looked at, they were just really overpriced. I was like, I don't want to spend that much just for half of a night in Long Island.
Yeah, well, I think mine was like 109, but I've spent so much more for overnight stays, but I just I just wanted something close that wasn't. It doesn't have to be like say as long as there's no roaches, because I don't want anything I don't want any vermin crawling into my luggage overnight. So when I come home, I have to like fumigate the car and the house, and I can't stand that shit. I can't stand. I kicked a girl out of my bedroom because not recently. This is before I was married. In case my wife is listening. Before my wife and I got married, I used to have this fetish with Serena Williams, and I was dating this girl that looked like her, and I was like in hog heaven, and so the first night she came to spend the night over, she brings her luggage and she sets it down on the floor, and a female roach crawled out with eggs, and that was it. She had to go. I didn't get started. I just grabbed the shit. I killed the roach, got her out of the house. I took her luggage and I put it in a plastic bag and just took it back out. Said, I forgot I'm on call tonight. I got to go. You can't stay. And I just got rid of her. She's I got to spend 10 minutes alone with the girl that looked like Serena Williams, but that was that. It's like I can't. It's like roaches or Serena Williams. Get rid of the roaches and Serena Williams. She's got to go. Now I don't want somebody to hear the story and go like, "Wait a minute, he was with Serena Williams and she had roaches." No, it was someone who looked like her. I also had a fetish.
Terrible.
I used to date a woman that looked like Queen Latifah. Queen Latifah.
There you go.
Sometimes I have like these little fetishes I go through, and I'm like, I'll never meet them, but she looks like her. You ever date somebody just because they look like somebody that you couldn't have?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh, I guess I'm the only one. I guess I'm the only one that's ever done that.
It sounds like it.
It sounds like it. All right, guys, I think I gotta get out of here.
I'm getting out of here too. Let's end it.
All right. Well, let me find the video real quick. The little outro. There it is. So I guess.
I want to play one of my songs. And a
lot of that comes.
Don't forget to turn on your radios. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern. Coffee with the dog. Don't forget to turn it on. Do it.
Finish inside me. Finish inside me.
Are you a retard?
Finish inside me.
Are you a retard?
Oh, I'm sorry. Because you're black?
to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me now. Listen to me, listen to me, listen to me.